It's the news we've all been waiting for, and now it's finally happening. After months of speculation, weeks of political wrangling, and endless public pressure, the US government has confirmed what millions had hoped for. The fourth stimulus check is not just a proposal anymore. It's real, it's happening, and it's launching this Friday. That's right, Friday marks the beginning of a brand new round of direct payments. And for eligible Americans, the amount is $2,900. Yes, you heard that correctly, $2,900 in direct financial support, approved by Congress and confirmed by the IRS. In this report, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know about this historic development. From how we got here to who qualifies, when to expect your deposit, and what this means for the future of stimulus in the United States. You'll also hear real stories from people who need this money the most, and we'll dive into what experts are saying about the potential impact of this bold move. Whether you're a senior on Social Security, a working parent, a veteran, or just trying to make ends meet, this payment could change everything for you, and it's just days away. The political surprise that no one saw coming. This all began with a surprising twist inside the halls of Congress. What started as a standard budget discussion in the House of Representatives quickly turned into a high-stakes negotiation behind closed doors. Pressure had been mounting from both sides of the political aisle. With inflation continuing to weigh heavily on the average American household, the calls for action had become too loud to ignore. In the end, it was a bipartisan coalition of lawmakers, both Democrats and Republicans, who came together to hammer out a last-minute deal. They called it the American Recovery Rebate Enhancement Act, and it was introduced and passed with astonishing speed. Within just days, the bill was not only introduced but cleared both the House and the Senate with wide margins. The centerpiece of the legislation? A direct stimulus payment of $2,900 aimed at low and middle-income Americans struggling to pay bills, manage debt, and afford basic necessities like groceries, gas, and housing. So why exactly $2,900? That figure wasn't chosen at random. According to congressional aides and Treasury Department advisors, the $2,900 amount was carefully calculated using 2025 economic data from across the country. Analysts looked at the average shortfall between monthly income and monthly expenses among working-class and fixed-income Americans. The number also factors in recent spikes in food prices, utilities, transportation costs, and rent increases, which have hit record highs in many urban and rural areas alike. In other words, this payment isn't just symbolic, it's targeted. It's designed to directly address the widening gap between what people earn and what they need to survive. In many ways, it's a response to the failures of earlier programs that, while well-intentioned, didn't quite cover the full scope of financial hardship faced by everyday Americans. Now, let's talk eligibility, because that's the million-dollar question. The good news is that qualification requirements are actually quite similar to those used during the previous rounds of stimulus. If you are a single filer earning less than $75,000 a year, you qualify for the full $2,900 payment. If you're married and filing jointly with a household income under $150,000, you're eligible for $5,800. Heads of household earning under $112,500 are also included in the full payout category. But that's not all. One of the most significant aspects of this stimulus package is the inclusion of special groups. Seniors receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits will automatically be eligible with no extra paperwork required. That means if you're already receiving government benefits, the IRS already has your information and will process your payment seamlessly. And there's even more good news for families. For every dependent under the age of 17, households will receive an additional $900. So for a family of 4 with 2 parents and 2 children, the total payment could exceed $7,600, money that can go a long way toward catching up on bills, rent, car payments, or simply putting food on the table. One of the most shocking elements of this entire process is how quickly things are moving. Typically, after Congress passes a bill, the IRS takes several weeks, sometimes even months, to prepare distribution. But this time, the IRS and the U.S. Treasury were already planning for this outcome. According to an official statement released Tuesday morning, direct deposit payments will begin hitting eligible accounts this Friday. That's right. If you received previous stimulus checks via direct deposit and your banking information is still current with the IRS, you could see your $2,900 payment as early as Friday morning. For those receiving checks by mail, delivery will begin next week. Debit cards, which will be used for people without direct deposit information on file, are expected to roll out shortly after. And if you've recently moved, changed banks, or had issues with previous payments, the IRS has launched an updated version of their Get My Payment portal where you can check the status of your check and update your contact information. It's worth logging in as soon as possible to avoid delays. While this stimulus check is certainly welcome news, many are wondering, will this be the last payment, or could there be more to come? According to language in the bill, this $2,900 check is being called a one-time emergency relief payment. However, lawmakers also added a clause that leaves the door open for additional payments later this year. Specifically, if national inflation remains above 4% by August, or if unemployment rises past 6%, the Treasury has the authority to issue a second round of relief, without needing to pass a brand new bill. That means, while this payment is likely the only confirmed check at this point, the possibility of more support isn't off the table entirely. For seniors, disabled Americans, and veterans, this payment could mean everything. Over the past 2 years, these groups have been some of the hardest hit by rising costs. Medicare doesn't cover everything. Prescription drug prices have soared. Utility costs in colder states reached record levels this winter, and many fixed-income seniors have reported skipping meals, delaying medical care, or relying on food banks just to survive. The $2,900 check will be deposited directly into the accounts used for Social Security or VA benefit disbursements, which means no extra steps are required. And the best part? It won't affect your eligibility for any other programs, including Medicaid, SNAP, or subsidized housing. This is a true no-strings-attached payment, just like the earlier stimulus checks. Let's take a moment to hear from real Americans who are counting on this relief. Jessica, a single mom in Ohio, told us that she's working 2 jobs and still can't afford rent and daycare at the same time. "This money is hope," she said. "It's not just a check, it's a chance to catch up and maybe breathe for once." Then there's Albert, a 73-year-old veteran from Florida. He's been living off his Social Security check and relying on food stamps. He said this check will finally allow him to fix his car and visit his doctor. "It's dignity," he told us. "I've earned this." And finally, Mike from California, a father who lost his job in January and has been at risk of losing his home. He said this check might be the only reason he and his kids still have a roof over their heads next month. These are the people behind the policy, and their stories matter. Before we wrap up, it's important to share a warning. With any government payment program, scammers will try to take advantage. We've already seen reports of phishing emails, fake text messages, and robocalls telling people to confirm their payment by clicking on suspicious links or providing personal information. Let's be clear, the IRS will never call you, text you, or email you to request your Social Security number or banking details. If you receive one of these messages, it's a scam. The only place to get accurate information is the official IRS website or through physical mail sent by the Treasury. One of the most common questions we've received is about taxes. Will the $2,900 check count as income? Will it reduce your refund or increase what you owe? The answer, thankfully, is no. This stimulus is classified as a refundable tax credit advance, just like previous stimulus checks. That means it will not count as income, it will not be taxed, and it will not affect other benefits. You can cash the check, spend it, save it, or use it however you need without worrying about the IRS coming back next year and asking for it back. As we close, it's worth acknowledging what this moment really represents. In an era of political division, skyrocketing costs, and economic anxiety, this $2,900 payment is more than just money. It's a message from the government, from Congress, from the system, that the struggles of everyday Americans are being heard. It may not solve every problem. It may not be enough for everyone. But for many, this stimulus check could mean food on the table, the lights staying on, rent paid on time, or even the first step toward catching up after a long stretch of falling behind. This Friday, the payments begin. Make sure your information is up to date. Check your mail. Check your bank account. And most of all, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this news. We'll be right here, keeping you updated every step of the way.